everyone, this is the presentation recording for week 5 for IS219. The reading assignment are chapters 10, 11, and 12. The discussion for discussion 5, the topic is how do you know that performance of a database is good? What are some tools that can measure performance and provide an in-depth look into the trouble areas? Please provide at least one tool you can find and explain what it does and what it provides to assist with database and query tuning. Don't forget your AP reference and your reply to 2 others. The week 5 assignment, you're to complete problems 1 through 3 on page 586 to 588, which is at the end of chapter 12. Question number 1, you're to specify the minimum types of operation the database must support to perform the following operations. So before we look at those, it helps if you know the number of data processes that are accessed by each request or transaction. A transaction is a sequence of database requests that access the database. A request is a single database SQL statement. First, identify how many different DP sites are to be accessed by the transaction or request. A distributed request is necessary if a single SQL statement is to access more than one DP site. So using this picture, once you've figured out the number of DPs for whether it's a request or transaction, is it remote or distributed? And then you go by each site that is provided in each statement. The following data structure and constraints exist for a magazine publishing company. The company publishes one regional magazine each in Florida, South Carolina, Georgia, and Tennessee. I'm not going to read the whole thing. They've decided to decentralize. So what you have to do is look at the requirements, and then you have to decide how to partition the database. And that's what how you're going to answer that question. Number 3, given the scenario provided and requirements provided in 2, answer the following questions. So you use the decisions you made in question 2 to answer the questions. You can look at the table headings I've created that might help you answer those questions. So it's got A, B, C, D, and I provided another row of a table that might help you with that question. Then E and F. So you can look at the map you drew for E, and this would be the map, the fragments, the nodes, and so you're going to have nodes and you're going to have headquarters, and that's how you're going to use this to answer E, and then you'll use it to answer F. To study for the quiz 5, know what happens when a rollback is issued before the termination of a transaction. That's on page 489. Know what a lost update is, page 490. Know when uncommitted data occurs, page 491. Know what the scheduler does, page 494. Know the 2 states of a binary lock, page 498. Know what database buffers are, page 506. Know what database checkpoints are, page 507. Know what a write-through technique is called, page 507. A foreign key attribute in one table must have values that match the transaction log in another table. Recognize a correct query. Remember not to worry about whether there is a semicolon or not. So, if there's a semicolon, if it's correct otherwise, then you accept it. If there isn't one but it's correct otherwise, then you would accept it. So So for the final project, by now you should have completed your proposal by explaining what type of database you're going to use, explain what tables you will have in your database. You should also have started creating the database tables so that you can then decide on what queries you will need to include in the proposal document. I expect to see at least 4 queries, and you might also want to create a view, at least one view. Stored procedures that you think would be applicable to your database, 1 or 2. That's all I can think of right now. I'll go over it more next week. And then, of course, my last page is my reference. That's all I have for this week. If you have any questions, please let me know.